You sit down to work. The page is open, your hands are ready, and somehow you're already checking something. It's not even a decision. It's a small bend in the road, a tab, a message, a quick second. Then you look up and 10 minutes are gone. Here's the part that doesn't feel fair. You can be motivated and still keep sliding off the task. Most days, the problem isn't effort. It's that your mind is trying to get relief from friction, and it grabs the closest, easiest relief available. So you switch, you check, you adjust, not because you don't care, because the first hard moment shows up and the door is cracked open. And when you take a break that's still full of input, you don't reset. You just change the flavor of stimulation. So you come back and the task feels even less inviting. Like a tab that stays half open, quietly pulling at you. Jordan runs into this on a normal Tuesday. Laptop open, coffee cooling. One spreadsheet, one email draft, one message thread on the side. It looks like working. It feels like working, but nothing lands. So here's what happens next, in a way that's actually usable. There are 3 steps that turn focus from a mood into something you can set up and repeat. Step 1. Name the loop. You feel the first reach, not the 10th reach, the first. Your fingers hover toward the phone or a tab, and you catch it early. You say, out loud if you can, I'm drifting. The effect is small but real. You stop pretending it's a quick check, and you see it as an exit ramp. Step 2. Cut the thread. You don't try to force yourself into deep work. You seal one short session so there's less to negotiate with. One timer, one outcome. And you move the 3 closest distractions out of arm's reach. Phone face down, extra tabs closed, notifications ignored. The effect is that the task stops competing with a storm at the door. Step 3. Reset on repeat. When the timer ends, you end, not when you feel done, not when you've squeezed yourself dry. You stand up and take a real break with no inputs, no feeds, no news, no messages. The effect is that your mind actually settles, instead of staying hooked on a new stream. If you've been trying to stay focused by pushing harder, this can feel almost too simple. But that's the point. Focus usually fails in the first 30 seconds of drift, not in the 3rd hour of a heroic session. So why do those tiny switches mess up the whole day? Because switching doesn't just change what you're looking at. It leaves the last thing running in the background. You answer one message, you come back. And part of you is still in that message, like a playlist that keeps restarting the first 10 seconds every time you touch the controls. You're technically playing the song, but you never get into it. Most people assume focus is something you either have or you don't, like a personality trait. But in practice, it's closer to a window you set up. If the window is open and the room is noisy, you will hear the noise. That's not a character flaw, that's physics. And if your break is just more noise, your system never gets quiet. It's like snacking all day instead of eating a real meal. You keep feeding the urge for input. So you never feel satisfied. You just feel distracted and vaguely tired. Jordan tries a break at noon. 5 minutes turns into 15, and the phone comes with them. They come back, sit down, and the spreadsheet looks worse than before. Now there's guilt on top of friction. And guilt is not a great focusing fuel. A few things are usually driving this. One is treating focus like a mood you wait for, so you keep checking your internal weather. Am I ready yet? And while you're checking, you're not starting. Another is the tiny switch that steals the next chunk of momentum. A tab change feels small, but it can quietly flatten the next 15 minutes because you have to re-enter the task. Another is working past your natural limit. You keep going until you hit a wall. Then you crash and call it lack of discipline. But it's often just poor pacing. And another is starting without a clear next physical action. So the first minute feels vague. Vague is escape friendly. Vague invites checking. Here's a quick reality check. If your first step is work on the project, your mind will look for an exit. If your first step is write the first 2 sentences, it's harder to run, not because you became stronger, but because you made the doorway smaller. So when drift shows up, you don't need a pep talk. You need a clean move you can do while you're already sliding. That's where 3 small cognitive micro-tools earn their keep. Each one has a signal, a gesture, and a visible consequence. The first is the drift label. The signal is the urge to check anything unrelated. The gesture is saying, drift, and placing the phone face down, or moving your hand back to the keyboard. The visible consequence is that the check doesn't happen, and you return to the very next sentence you were in. Not the whole task, not the whole plan. The next sentence. That's how you interrupt the slide without making it a debate. The second is the tiny step slip. The signal is confusion or internal fog. You read the same line twice, you open a document and feel blank. The gesture is writing one next tiny step on paper, one line. The visible consequence is 5 minutes spent doing only that step, even if it's imperfect. This matters because confusion often masquerades as boredom. But a lot of boredom is just unclear next action. Clarity is energizing in a quiet way. The third is the later list. The signal is a notification sound or a sudden thought like, I should reply to that. The gesture is writing it on a small later note without looking at the phone. The visible consequence is the timer keeps running and the task stays in front of you. That one sounds almost childish until you try it, because it turns I'll forget into it's captured. And your mind stops trying to keep it alive by pulling you away. Now, a few common mistakes keep people stuck in the same day over and over. One is trying to power through for hours. Then, the break has to be huge to feel like relief, and the huge break knocks the rest of the day loose. Another is using breaks for feeds, news, or messages. It feels like rest because it's not the task, but it's still input. So you come back full of fragments, not recovered. And another is switching tasks when it gets uncomfortable. Not because the other task is important, because discomfort feels like danger for a second. So instead of shrinking the next step, you escape. Jordan does this in a way that looks responsible. They hit friction on the spreadsheet and decide to clear email quickly. Email leads to a calendar check. Calendar leads to a message. Then it's 1:30 and the spreadsheet still isn't moving. Here's the small reveal inside that pattern. The day doesn't fall apart in the big moments. It falls apart in the tiny permissions. Just this once, just real quick, just to make sure. That's why step 1 matters so much. Name the loop early while it's still small. Later, it's not a loop. It's a new track your day is stuck on. So, let's make the 3 steps feel real in the middle of an ordinary work session. Step 1. Name the loop. You're reading a paragraph and you feel that itch to open a new tab. You don't do anything yet. You say, I'm drifting. You notice what you wanted to escape, the sentence that felt dense, the decision you didn't want to make. The effect is that the drift becomes visible, and visibility creates a little space. Step 2. Cut the thread. You set a timer for a block that feels realistic today. Not heroic, realistic. You pick one outcome that would be clearly true when the timer ends. Then you close the nearby exits. Not forever, just for this session. The effect is you stop negotiating every 30 seconds. Step 3. Reset on repeat. When the timer ends, you stop cleanly, not mid-panic. You stand up, leave the desk, and let your eyes look far away for a moment. No phone in hand, no new inputs. The effect is your attention stops splintering, so returning doesn't feel like climbing a wall. Most people don't fail because they can't focus. They fail because they never fully exit a task or fully enter the next one. So the day becomes half-open tabs, everything running, nothing finishing. A real break is not entertainment. It's a reduction in input. giving your mind a moment with no new hooks in it. Jordan tries this on Wednesday. Timer on, phone face down. One outcome: finish the first pass of the spreadsheet. Not perfect, just complete. They drift twice and say, drift twice. They come back to the next line twice, and something shifts. Not into blissful focus, into something more useful: momentum. Momentum is quiet. It's the feeling that the next move is obvious enough to do. And the biggest thing that kills momentum is a tiny switch that resets the first 10 seconds again. So if breaks haven't helped, it's usually because they weren't breaks. They were switches, and switches keep the storm in the room. One more detail that makes this easier: end your session with a landing spot. Before you stop, leave yourself one clear next physical action: a sentence starter, a number to check, a file to open. So when you come back, you're not asking, "Where was I?" You're stepping onto a marked stone. That's what Jordan starts doing. They end a session with a note. Next, check column C totals, then write 2-sentence summary. They take the real break. They come back, and they don't need to warm up for 10 minutes. None of this requires pretending distractions don't exist. It just requires closing the door during the storm for a short window, on purpose. Then opening it again on purpose. Today, one sealed session is enough to prove the point. Name the drift early. Cut the thread for one timer, then take a real break and restart with a smaller block if needed. You don't need more intensity. You need cleaner edges, and you can start with the next 30 seconds.